Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. For those who just tuning in, the Minnesota Twins have completed a series of trades at the deadline that have fundamentally reshaped the organization. It's a sunny day here in the Twin Cities, but the mood around the team is one of reflection and looking towards the future. Over the last 24 hours, the Twins have been the most active team in baseball, finalizing a number of moves that have seen key veterans depart. The most notable of these was the trade of Carlos Correa, a move that signals a significant shift in the team's direction and financial strategy. The roster, which is currently on its way to Cleveland for a series against the Guardians, will look considerably different. We've seen the departure of several major league players, including key bullpen arms and starters, in exchange for a collection of prospects and some players with limited major league experience. This approach, while difficult for fans to witness in the short term, is clearly a long-term play. The front office has made the right decision to reset the roster, acquire young talent, and position the franchise for future success. Tonight's game against the Guardians will be the first opportunity to see this new-look team in action. We'll be discussing the full scopes of these moves, what it means for the team's immediate competitiveness, and what we can expect to see from these new faces on the roster. It's a new era for the Minnesota Twins, and we're here to analyze it all. And with that, guys, welcome into Inside the Zone with Mateo, August 1st, 2025. I had a little fun with that because why not have a little fun when we're in kind of a good mood here? If you're talking about Twins baseball, you came into the deadline 24 hours left in the deadline, about 5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. The Twins had only made one trade, and it was a minor trade, trading Chris Paddack and Randy Dobnak for Enrique Nunez. That was on Monday. And then coming 24 hours before the deadline, which, as I said, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time Wednesday, they still hadn't made any moves, but don't you wait, because then 11 players were traded. 11 players on the Minnesota Twins active roster were traded, shipped out. A lot of surprising moves, some predictable. And yeah, as I said, we're going to break it all down. So we already kind of talked about this Paddack trade a little bit a couple days ago. But Enrique Nunez was the 14th best Detroit prospect. He goes down to about 24 in the Minnesota's farm system. But he's an 18-year-old catcher who has some promise, but it could be a hit or miss. But the fact that for Dobnak and Paddack, it's crazy that they got a top 15 prospect for that. So that's just kind of cool to see. But as I said, the moves didn't happen until about 24 hours before the deadline, and it all started off with this: Jhoan Duran, in my opinion, the best closer in baseball, gets traded to Philly for 2 top 6 prospects in the Phillies organization. Eduardo Tate, catching prospect, and then Mick Abel, the number 6 prospect for Philly, and he should be in the major leagues pretty soon. I think he's going to get a couple starts in the Saints just to make sure he adjusts to this new situation. But yeah, he's been pitching for the Phillies in the major leagues. He's looked good. Top 6 prospect, and then Eduardo Tate is 19, so he'll play a little bit. He's a catching prospect, so he'll play maybe next year or in a few years. But still, for Duran, that seems about right. The package seems about right. Then that was Wednesday, July 30th, but then the rest of the deals happened on the trade deadline day. Early Thursday morning, Harrison Bader, they made another trade with the Phillies as he's headed to Philadelphia to help their outfield. The Twins, in return, got 2 prospects, one unranked prospect, Jeremy Valeria, and then Hendry Mendez, who is the 12th best Philly prospect. And it just it looks kind of. I'm excited. I'm excited for it because they did a good job of getting good packages for these respective players. I'm trying to remember here. Okay, we do got some activations. Cool. I'm looking at the transactions because I wanted to make sure I get all these positions correct. But they finally did call up some people because they did not have enough people to play. But where is it? There we go. Jeremy Valervia is the right-hand pitcher, and then Hendry Mendez is the outfielder that the Twins got. Then, a little bit after that, Brock Stewart got traded to the Dodgers for center fielder James Outman. James Outman is 28 years old, and it just kind of replaces Harrison Bader, especially since in the outfield. He is in, I believe he is in AAA at the moment. They put him to AAA. I didn't see him on the transaction list. I can take a peek if he got called up, but yeah, he did not get called up today, so he will be staying in AAA for the moment. But I expect to see him in the next couple of days. So that was a fair trade for Brock Stewart, who the Dodgers just needed a bullpen arm. Then Correa, the big one. The big one from Correa. I did find this quote, which I thought was kind of cool. Obviously, he has a no-trade clause. Like 2 hours before he got traded, it didn't seem like he was going to get traded. But then he says this to what he was saying about requesting a trade. He said, I let them know there was only one team I would allow a trade to happen because, of course, he had the no-trade clause, and the Astros wanted him because their third baseman is out for the season. So this is what's going to happen. Once their shortstop returns, I believe it's Jeremy Pena, he's out for a little bit longer. Correa is going to play shortstop, and then once Pena comes back, Correa is going to shift over to third base, and it sounded like because of his plantar fasciitis, he was going to end up taking third base on the Twins, meaning Royce Lewis would have had to be a bench player at some point. So that's why it seems like they had to get rid of Correa, which I found very interesting. But yeah, he heads back to the Astros in a huge trade. In return, this might not seem like a lot, but it is. We get one prospect, Matt Mikulski. It's a prospect. I couldn't find much on him, but the main deal is just the Astros are taking the salary of Correa. So I think we were supposed to pay him like over $90 million in the next couple of years. We only have to pay him about less than a third of it, which is huge. So we get like $66 million in cap space from that trade, which is incredible. Following the Correa trade, a little bit after that, we got news of another trade. Danny Coulomb gets traded. The really one of the best left-hand relievers in the game. He goes to Texas for left-hand pitcher Garrett Horn. Obviously, I could not find much about him as well. He's an unranked pitching prospect. And then another move, though, that we thought was going to happen. Willie Castro goes to the Chicago Cubs for Ryan Gallagher and Sam Armstrong. Ryan Gallagher is now the 15th best prospect in the Minnesota system. He is a right-hand pitcher, and then Sam Armstrong is also a right-hand pitcher. So I was intrigued by Gallagher. Gallagher is 22 years old. He's 6'3". He's been in the minors for a couple teams. And so he has about a 3.4 ERA. Hasn't given up much in runs. People are hitting 220 against him. He's given up 10 home runs this year in AAA. So that's, I mean, you can't say much, but yeah, he's a right-hand pitcher. And for Willie Castro, I think it was a decent return. So I really did like that. And then, so we thought the trades were done, but then two more trades came like right after the deadline. There was probably a backup of things, but the first one, this was the Toronto Blue Jays trade. Varland and Ty France. So Louis Varland and Ty France go to Toronto. The Twins, as you can see on your screen, get Alan Rodon and Kendry Rojas. Kendry Rojas is now Minnesota's 7th best prospect, which for that package of Varland and France is kind of crazy from what they got it. And then Alan Rodon, left fielder. I did believe I just saw, yes, the Twins just activated Alan Rodon. So that's kind of cool. So that is kind of cool to see what they got. Louis Varland is like, I was a little shocked, to be honest. When Varland was traded, the news of that, because the Twins drafted him a while ago. He wanted to be a starting pitcher, but then he finally agreed to become this relief pitcher, and he's been having a good season. But then I guess Blue Jays wanted him. They get rid of Ty France, which is it's good. I didn't think anybody would go for Ty France, but hey, they made it work, so good for them. And then the final trade of the day was Griffin Jax to the Rays for, I forgot who they got for him. They got Taj Bradley back. So people don't remember this, but Taj Bradley, 24 years old. I believe they did draft him, and then he didn't sign here. But Taj Bradley, so far, he's doing okay in the 2025 season. It's not the prettiest numbers, but for a bullpen arm, I don't mind it, especially for a bullpen arm. Taj Bradley, he's not in the rotation in the system right now. He's going to be in AAA for a little bit, but hey, it's for the future. They're building for the future. Not all of these people are going to be able to play right away, and so that's your kind of quick trade updates of what happened. So, with that in mind, we can talk and say, this is kind of what's going on with the roster right now. So right before I got all these updates of who they activated, I just literally, as soon as I'd been checking right before I recorded it, but yeah. Now we have some updates I can read to you. But as of the trade deadline, this is what the case was. There were 15 active Twins on the roster, on the 40-man roster. Not the 40, on just the active MLB roster that was in Cleveland. 11, all 11 of these guys were on that roster. So it's, I believe, a 26-man roster, in the stadium. So there's the 26. You see the 15 and 11. 15 plus 11 is 26. That was your 26-man roster for that series against the Red Sox. About half of them, 40%, were traded. About 40%, I think it was 38% of them were traded. And then these players all will be playing eventually once they get healthy in the MLB in Pablo Lopez, Bailey Ober, David Festa, Byron Buxton, and Luke Keeschel. But yeah, so you got Paddock, Dobnik, Duran, Bader, Stewart, Correa, Coulomb, Castro, Varland, France, and Jax all traded. And the active players, you notice there are only 3 starting pitchers active right now, or after that deadline. It was Ryan, Matthews, and Simeon Woods Richardson. I'm guessing Festa and Ober will be back shortly. Just kind of signs of they're in their rehab assignments at the moment. Then in the bullpen is literally gone. You have Topa, Tonkin, and Sands. That's it for your bullpen. I can tell you they did recall 4 pitchers today from St. Paul, and then 4 fielders. The catchers stay the same, Jefferson, Vasquez, and then you have technically 2 first basemen, but Mickey Gasper is probably going to play first base. That's just what it sounds like. And he can also play catcher. And then Cody Clemens will move to second, Brooks Lee to shortstop, and then Royce Lewis to third. And then you got Deshaun Kersey Jr. in outfield, Trevor Larnach in outfield, and Matt Wallner in the outfield. So those are kind of your position players that could play. But then you obviously need a bench, or some players might even start. So yeah, those people that they activated are as followed. The pitchers, Pearson Ole is back up. He made his first career start a couple days ago, then got sat back down. Well, he's back up here. Erasmo Ramirez, the Twins selected his contract. And then Jose Urena from the Saints, they also selected that. And then Travis Adams comes back up. He's been up and down for the last couple of weeks as well. Then Ryan Fitzgerald, third baseman, comes back from the Twins. He's been here for a while. Welcome back, Eddie Julian. Eddie Julian is right back into the Twins. He made the opening day roster, got sent down a couple months ago, but he's back here. Alex Rodon, as I said, is here. And then Austin Martin, who usually is a September call-up, he's back a little early. He's an outfielder. So you got Alex Rodon and Austin Martin in the outfield. In the infield, Julian and Fitzgerald. I like all of those calls. I think they all make sense. The pitching are okay. I don't know how many of them will pitch today, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see Joe Ryan on the mound, so hopefully we can get through, about 7 innings with Joe Ryan maybe. And then maybe you have Topa pitch, Tonkin, Sands, I don't know, because you got your whole bullpen pretty much taken over. Varland, Coulomb, Stewart, Duran, Dobnik, and Jax. All of those guys were your main bullpen people. They're all gone now. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy of what the Twins did, but I think it's well needed. It was needed. Much needed. That's what I'm trying to say. There we go. Because the Twins weren't going anywhere. Now, could I see this team sneaking into the wild card spot? No. It would, all of the teams ahead of them would have to stink. But I don't think the Twins are going to win much. They're playing Cleveland today, they're 3 games back of Cleveland, who then technically, okay, the Twins are 6 games back. So it's not like mathematically eliminated yet, but you're 51 and 57. The wildcard team is 58 and 52 in the Mariners. The Mariners are... It's just the problem is all these teams are going to stay put. Detroit's going to stay put, even though they're slumping. Toronto's going to stay there. The Astros are going to stay there, especially adding Correa. Yankees are going to stay there. Red Sox are probably going to stay there. And then the Mariners are going to stay there. Texas might make a push. Tampa might make a push. Kansas City might make a push. But for the most part, the playoff for the AL is already kind of set. I think that's why you needed to make that move to sell 11 Twins players. I thought before we kind of ended here, I thought it would be kind of cool. Opening day roster. Who was on the opening day roster compared to now? And as you can see, I put it together. So still on the MLB roster that was on the opening day roster. I could add Eddie Julian because he's now back here, but I'm not going to count it because he hasn't played forever. Joe Ryan, Simeon Woods Richardson, Justin Topa, Cole Sands, Ryan Jeffers, Christian Vasquez, Mickey Gasper, Deshaun Kersey Jr., Trevor Larnach, Matt Wallner. Those guys were on the opening day roster and still are on. The people that were on it that are now injured, Lopez, Ober, and Buxton. No, Lewis was hurt. He wasn't on the opening day roster. Lee was hurt. He wasn't on the opening day roster. Miranda was on the opening day roster. That's kind of funny. Just because Lewis was hurt, so they need a third baseman. He's now in AAA. And then no longer, if you don't remember this, Jorge Alcala got traded for Cody Clemens. Man, Cody Clemens been good. But then, yeah, Chris Paddock, Randy Dobnik, Johan Duran, Harrison Bader, Brock Stewart, Carlos Correa, Danny Coulomb, Willie Castro, Louis Varland, Ty France, and Griffin Jax. They were all on the opening day roster, and they are no longer. So I thought it was would be kind of cool to bring that up and say the Twins really reset this. And I think that's all we have for today. Thank you all for watching. If you aren't already, subscribe. Hit the like button if you enjoy this. Check the post sections. I was live yesterday at the end of the deadline from like 4 to 5:15ish. Stay in the post section, and I'll let you know if I go live again or if videos are coming up. Sometimes I'll have polls you vote on for video ideas, etc., etc., etc. Have a blessed day. Yeah, peace out, and have a good day. See ya.